What's going on, guys? Bearded Storyteller here. You ever thought about working security or thinking about working security doing night shifts especially? Well, here's some things to know before you get into it. And there's really some ugly truths to this line of work. It is not as easy as it might seem to a lot of people. So if y'all don't know, my name is Brian, and I've been doing security, both armed and unarmed, for around 5.5 to 6 years. Haven't exactly kept up with the timeline down to a T, but 5.5 to 6 years now I've been doing it for 2 different companies. I've done everything from furniture stores to 18-wheeler drop yards, hospital security, hotel security, stuff like that. I'm currently working at a hotel down in the Southeast Texas area right now, and doing an overnighter here. It's about 4:26 in the morning, and anyway, so let's just go with it. All right, so there's a lot of things to consider before you get into doing armed security or any kind of security period, really. And of course, there's variations. Everything is going to vary from company to company, but based on my experiences that I've had, which of course I haven't worked for 10 different companies, over the span of 30 years or none of that. This is just my experience based off of 5.5 to 6 years and 2 companies. So if you want to work nights, it's great for people that are single. I would say in general, if you are married and have a family, or you're married or you have a family, it is not very glamorous, because while everybody else in your house is awake during the daytime, you're trying to sleep. So of course you have to combat all the noise going on, as well as if you live in a noisy area that is generally pretty loud during the daytime, like traffic, construction equipment, stuff like that, you're not going to get a lot of rest during the daytime. So it makes your night shift job really, really difficult. If you're a night owl, then it's pretty okay. If you're one of those people that you don't like dealing with a lot of people, having bosses breathing down your neck all the time, management sucking you dry pretty much, and just squeezing the life out of you, then night shift is pretty calm, from my experience anyway. There's downsides, there's pros, stuff like that. So you're gonna spend a lot of days away from home, a lot of holidays, a lot of birthdays, a lot of anniversaries. And I can honestly say, without a shadow of a doubt, I have not had a single holiday off in over 6 years. So every Christmas I've had to work, every New Year's I've had to work, all of my kids' birthdays, my wife's birthday, my birthday, 4th of July, stuff like that. So it is, it's rough. It really is, because, while everybody else is busy enjoying their holidays and everything, well, I'm not there because I have to work. I work 12-hour shifts at most of the locations that I work at. There are a couple that I do 8-hour shifts and some 10-hour shifts, but mostly I do 12-hour. So I generally do 5-day weeks, and I do anywhere, it varies pretty badly, because if your relief is late, then you got to stay over until your relief gets there, which could take God knows how long. In my line of work, a lot of people quit because they just can't hang with it. The other people get fired, so the turnover rate is relatively high, and a lot of times people get fired because they simply just can't work night shifts, and they fall asleep on the job. That is one of the number one best ways to get fired with the company that I'm with anyway. You get caught sleeping, it's immediate termination. If you pop dirty on a drug test, that is immediate termination without question. And there's a handful of other things, you know, sexual harassment, you know, your typical stuff that you would deal with at most companies anyway. The pay is not that great. It is one of those deals where even if you carry a gun, you have a license to carry that gun on your job, and you carry it, odds are you're not going to make much more than maybe $17 an hour. But that also depends on where you live, the type of company you work for. If you do federal security, then you could make upwards of in the mid to late 20s kind of thing, 25 and up an hour, depending on where you're at. If you work for a private security company, but you're in a super dangerous area of town, you might get paid a little bit more. But it relatively depends. And unfortunately, even if you work nights and you're good at working nights, you're not going to make just a killing. You know, you're not going to make an impressive amount of money. I don't make an impressive amount of money, and I've been with this company for a long time, about 4 years. So another downside is it is a very demanding job. It'll do things to your health. Having a healthy diet is very, very important, because a lot of times, especially if you work night shifts, you have a lot of downtime. So you're literally just sitting for long periods of time, and anywhere from, you know, an hour to maybe a couple hours, maybe all night, depending on where you're at. I'm in my personal car. You might be able to see it. There's like a flashing going on behind me. I'm in my personal car right now, and I have been here in this seat driving around this hotel all night. So ever since 6 p.m. So it's you know, it's one of those things where having a healthy diet is one of the most important things about this job, because if you don't take care of yourself, exercise on your days off, and eat healthy, you will gain weight, and you will quickly start developing health issues, high blood pressure being a very big one. And it is extremely important to stay on top of your diet. And most of all, working nights in general, it really doesn't even pertain to security, but just nights period, can get very depressing, because you spend a lot of time by yourself while everybody else is out partying and having fun and sitting around the bonfire, or, you know, shooting pool, darts, having beers, whatever. You're stuck at work. Every time you're going home from work, everybody is going to work. Our bodies are not naturally programmed to work nights in the first place. We're all supposed to be asleep at night. But somebody's gotta watch these locations, because criminals do what criminals do. What do you call? You will get a lot of disrespect in the security field in general, just because people don't like security. Security is it kind of sucks. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, you get shit on a lot by the cops. You get shit on a lot by people that, you know, have ill intent or nefarious intents of some sort, and you have to deter them, or you have to calm them down. Working in hospital security is absolutely 1000% like one of the worst types of security that I've had to work so far, because you deal with a lot of mentally unstable people that want to come in and show their ass, and then you got other ones that are really drunk and they want to show their ass, and you got some, you know, that they actually truly have psychological things going on. So it's pretty rough. So as a whole, hospital security is definitely one I would try to avoid if I were you. I'm not trying to say don't work security. I'm not trying to say don't work night shift security. I'm just simply saying, if you can help it and you have a choice on where you want to work, I would say don't work at a hospital. an ER, a hospital, something like that, because odds are it's gonna be crap. It's gonna suck. The reason that we get shit on a lot is because a lot of security officers don't take their job seriously. So the cops tend to kind of hate on us. They appreciate what we do because we do the job that they don't want to do and can't do, don't have the time to do. So we kind of do like the little stuff, the little cookie crumb, type stuff. And they have real jobs to do. And so a lot of times whenever we have to call the police and they show up, a lot of security officers don't take their job seriously. So they got ketchup stains on their clothes and they got like a super thick, unmanicured beard and all that. And they just look super raggedy and it doesn't look professional. Some of them have gold teeth and diamond chains and the list goes on, saggy pants and the whole thing. And so a lot of cops just tend to not like security officers that do stuff like that. And generally as a whole, of course, we depend on the police because a lot of things we can't do. You can't just go and automatically put your hands on somebody and grab them by the ear and lead them out of whatever establishment that they're acting up. Unless you're a bouncer, then you have a little bit more leeway there. But as far as doing just your small-time little private security stuff, you can't just go ham on somebody. That's a good way to stir up a hornet's nest and get yourself into some high water, really. Because if the cops show up and you put your hands on that person first, well, guess what? They don't care if you're security. You're going to be the one to go to jail because you were supposed to call the police and let them handle it. Your job primarily is to observe and report. And of course, monitor the premises and make sure that everything's on the up and up. So, let's see, what else do we got here? I'm trying to think. So, yeah, you're going to miss a lot of holidays away from home. Health problems is definitely pretty common. If you work a 1099 contract for a security company, you're a self-contractor, you're going to have to pay your own taxes. So, and it is not cheap. It's very not cheap. I have to pay every year just like every other 1099 employee does. So if I were you, I would more try to go for a W-2 job with a W-2. Also, most 1099 contract security jobs do not offer benefits whatsoever. If you work a shit ton of overtime, like I do, you are not going to get paid time and a half, odds are. You're not going to get holiday bonuses and this and that and toothpaste and whatnot. You're going to literally just get paid straight pay. So if you make $15 an hour, you can work 5 million hours a week. You're still going to get paid $15 an hour. You're not going to get paid more than that after time and a half. No benefits whatsoever. PTO, vacation. Yeah, it's basically PTO, ain't it? Insurance of any kind, 401k, forget it. It's not going to happen. So that's another reason why I would go to a W-2 job if I were in the market for a new security company. If you have to use your own personal vehicle to do security, whether you're watching a job site or a hotel or an apartment complex or a dealership, a store of some kind or a big warehouse, the list goes on. If you have to use your own personal car, you have to understand it's going to put a lot of wear and tear on your vehicle. So for every 1 hour that a vehicle idles is equivalent to driving at 33 miles at 65 miles an hour. So you have to get more oil changes done more frequently than you would if you were driving it down the actual road, because you can't just change it every 3,000 miles if your car idles all night long. because your engine is still running. There's still moving parts in there. There's still friction and heat. If your vehicle uses a timing belt, you're going to have to get that changed more often than you would think, even though you haven't drove it that much. Just because it's idling, that belt is moving. Same goes with your serpentine belt, your pulleys. If you do a lot of driving around the parking lot of the establishment, you're going to put more wear on your brakes and your tires, on your seats. Like your interior is going to get more wear and tear than you would think. You're obviously going to burn quite a bit of gas, unless you have some kind of a super hybrid, like a Prius or something that's real good on gas. So I have a 2010 Honda Accord Limited. That's what I use for security, but I'm not going to be keeping this car too much longer. It's got 139,668 miles on it right now, but of course, granted, it's got a ton more than that in idling hours. So it basically goes the same hand in hand that police cars do, and ambulances and vehicles that just idle for long periods of time. You're going to put a lot of wear on it. So that's something you have to keep in mind. Keep extra money put to the side. That way, when something goes wrong, you have the money to fix that. I don't know if y'all can hear it in this video or not, but I have a pulley that's squeaking off and on. It's my idler pulley. That's why you don't buy shit off of eBay. I got an idler pulley that squeaks off and on here and there. And eventually I know that pulley is going to get problematic, and I'm going to have to replace that. And that'll be the second one in the last few months that I've had to put on there. And I'll order another piece of shit one off of eBay because I'm cheap and I don't make a lot of money, and I got a big ass family. So, do what you got to do to try to make ends meet around here. But a lot of times, if you work night shift, lack of sleep is a big deal. So you got to try as hard as you can to get as much sleep as possible. So if you got a newborn and you work nights at any place, I just want you to know that, holy shit, you are the man. You are the dude. I'm fixing to be having another one here in a couple of months. Not looking forward to it at all. So it'll be fine, I'm sure. But I already don't sleep much as it is because I am ADHD as fuck. And my brain doesn't turn off the switch whenever I need to lay down and go to sleep. So 10 times out of 9, I don't get much more than just a few hours of sleep. So once the newborn gets here, yeah, you can cut that pretty much like a pizza. Get about 0.8 hours of sleep, maybe. Yeah, anyway, it won't be that bad. But just understand that doing security is a sacrifice. It's a very big sacrifice, and it sucks. It depends on the company you work for, but a lot of times, here's another thing to note, a lot of times you will work all over the place. You're not just going to be stationed at one location. So the company that I work for, we have 11 locations. And so sometimes I'll drive, I'll work at one place one day and another place 40 miles away the next day, and then 20 miles away over in the total opposite direction of that place, the last place I worked at. And I literally bounce around like a pinball. And it's hell. It really is. And sometimes you don't know where you're going to work from one place to the next, from one day to the next. And sometimes you do split shifts. So you might go over there and work 6 hours and go over there and work 4 hours. And so it's just a lot of sacrifices that you got to make. Also, depending on your company, you might be on call a lot. For me, in my case, I can't really ever plan anything because I'm always on call, which is fine. It's all good. I appreciate having the hours and everything. I'm not going to dog the company for that. But it is a very big pain in the ass sometimes because I'll be at home working on something that really needs attention, like my temper. or my car or my gun collection or whatever. Anyway, I'll be at home working on something, and my boss will call me and he'll be like, hey Brian, hey, I need you to go over, work over at such and such place. I'm like, really, bro? Knowing damn good and well, I just got off work a couple hours ago and knowing that I need to get shit done around here before I go to bed. Okay, sure. I would absolutely love to go work over there. Sure, gotcha. So then you got to get ready for work, or I got to get ready for work, and then go over there and work that post for however long until your relief gets there. And you just pray every single day that your relief is on time, which 9 times out of 10 they won't be. I really can't understand for the life of me. I've been doing this right around 6 years. We'll just say, for the sake of my ego issues that I have, we'll just say 6 years. I can't understand for the life of me how people are so comfortable with showing up either on time or being late every single day. I don't get it. There's never been a bone in my body that can understand how people can show up, like let's say your shift starts at 6 o'clock, how people can be there at 6 o'clock. So by the time you give them the pass down information and they get actually in the office and they get clocked in, it's like 6:15, man. So you have to then stay over an additional 15 minutes to give them the pass down information and give them the status of everything that's going on with the facility. And then you got some people that they don't show up until 6:15, and then you got to stay till 6:30 to get all your stuff finished out, get your reports finished out and all that stuff. And then if your relief decides to pull a no-call, no-show, remember earlier in the beginning of the video, I was talking about how a lot of people quit. Well, guess what? If your relief doesn't show up at all, you could be waiting there for an additional 2-3 hours until your boss can get you a relief to come in. So it sucks. Sometimes you'll work 12 hours and you're just dog ass tired and ready to go home. And then you have to then wait an additional 3.5, 4 hours until another person comes in to relieve you. And then you got to be right back at work at 6 o'clock that afternoon. So, or 6 in the morning, or whatever you want to call it. So you then get your sleep cut and messed with, and you're super grumpy, and that's why you really can't make plans. So I haven't had a vacation in about 7 years. Jesus Christ, 7 years. Something's wrong here, bruh. But I haven't had a vacation in about 7 years. Probably should do something about that. That's probably not good for my mental health. But anywho, but I can't really plan anything because I'm always on call. And if I wanted to take a vacation, it's not going to be a paid vacation. So, and I'm kind of one of those, I really hate to say it, but got a wife and 2 kids and one on the way, so I literally live check to check. I can't really afford, I can't pick up another job because I already work so many hours where I work now, and I don't really want to just leave this company and go find something else that pays more, because guess what? Your boy over here doesn't have any education whatsoever. I never graduated. I never went to school. I've never stepped foot in a school a day in my life. I don't even know what the inside of a school looks like other than seeing it on TV and stuff. And you're probably wondering, well, how the hell did your parents get away with that? I don't know. We lived out in a very rural area out in South Texas, and there was just nobody out there. So nobody even knew that we existed. Therefore, none of me or my siblings ever went to school. So I grew up and I just kind of never had the desire to go and get an education. And I know that's piss poor and whatever. 28 years old and not really doing anything productive with my life, but I kind of don't care. I got more priorities than an education. I I got kids and stuff to take care of and bills to pay and all that good stuff. Anyway, guys, we're rolling on 25 minutes here, so just understand it's a sacrifice. If you want to do security, that is great. I heavily encourage anybody that wants to get into it, get into it. Just understand it's a lot. It's a lot to take on, and I'm sure that if you can search the YouTube and probably Facebook and whatever, and there will be a lot of people that talk about doing security work. Some say that it's a cakewalk, a breeze, whatever. I'm telling you, based on my experience, it has been a hell of a sacrifice for me. It's taken a toll on me. I've missed a lot of birthdays and holidays and, you know, stuff like that, and a lot of days away from my family. And while everybody else is gone at work, because my wife works days, I work nights, our days off are not the same. Haven't been for a long time. So just understand, you're in for it. If you can help it, just try to find something that's not hospital security, because it sucks, and that is literally a lawsuit waiting to happen. I hate to tell you, I really do. Hospital security is a lawsuit waiting to happen for you. If you carry a gun, definitely get some kind of a self-liability protection insurance of some sort, USCCA, US Law Shield, something, some kind of a liability insurance. That way, if you ever have to use your weapon in the line of duty, you have a lawyer that you can call, because chances are you might end up in court, and it could just be a sticky situation. So make sure that you definitely have that. It's not that expensive. I have it. It's like $9 a month. So make sure you got that for sure. Also, if you have to carry a gun where you work at, don't buy no cheap ass holster, man. I see that so much. Our other security officers that work for this company buy the cheapest shit off of the Walmart shelf, or they order that crap off of eBay. It's like the super cheap nylon, whatever. I hate to break it to you, but just spend the money. Buy a quality level 3 holster. That is a very big deal, because if somebody gets your gun and they shoot you with it, you think they're just going to stop with you? No, they're going to go and shoot everybody else too, because can't leave no witnesses behind. And criminals are going to do what criminals are going to do, and you never know what they might do with your gun. So make sure you have a very secure holster. I cannot stress that enough. I personally rock the Safariland Level 3 self-locking, It's got the whole deal. It's got the hood on it. It's got the little switch on the side. It's a good holster. So I use that with every gun that I carry. Unless it's concealed carry and I'm off duty, then I rock a totally different holster. But anyway, that's going to be it, guys. If y'all have any questions, comments, or concerns, be sure you put that down in the comment section down below. If you guys have made it all the way to the end of this video, I desperately appreciate you for watching it. And y'all be safe out there. Have a great day. Don't do anything I wouldn't do.